a recording I did earlier with Trevor O'Sullivan, who comes from behavioral tools and profiling. And you talked there about systems and processes. Some people do not like systems. Some people do not like processes. And if, I'm sure in your coaching, business coaching experience, you would have come across that too, yeah. Right? So what is that? Let's talk about that for a minute. The value of systems and processes, right? Because it's enormous, right? Well, what's the value of these?
It's huge, and I don't think people appreciate enough. And you know, to-do list is the ultimate, really, for everybody. But obviously, if you try and put too much into your to-do list, but if you give some people some accountability, that if you tick it off, it means you've done that, and it makes you say, yes, I have committed, I have completed, and I have accepted the challenge of which you've taken on. So it's about having processes, writing down all those things, and being accountable. Really, it's accountability for the things you offer or the things you promise that you're going to do or deliver, or the expectation of the client. But I like to sort of dig beyond that expectation. So that's why it's my tick list of what I want to do. And I operate probably a little bit different to some of the other consultants in my industry. And it's not that they do a bad job, or they do, but I just do it differently, but because I'm process driven. And when you're really busy, you need those processes, otherwise you miss things. And that's what I don't want to do.
No, 100%. I think, and this is what's really interesting, is that the times we're living in, right, the digital age, there's this default rush to digital and technology, which we believe might improve our systems and processes, which has merit. However, we can also overdo that. I know businesses that have created technology stacks that are too complex, too convoluted, and at the expense often of human touch. And I think it's about balancing, right? You've got to have this process that allows for that service value, emotional value creation, which is human connection and touch. The technology can really help us streamline those processes to some degree. True. So it's balancing.
Yes, that's true. And someone said to me, oh, you should communicate with people in the way they communicate. So if they're a millennial, they only want to text and they only want to email and things like that. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But not everyone operates in that. And sometimes it is nice to have that conversation with someone. So I always have a conversation with my clients at the beginning. Whether they want to continue that conversation is up to them. But when you've done a little bit of people study, I've got a DISC profiling accreditation, you get to know how people react to you on the opposite side. So you can know whether you're pushing their buttons by talking too much, or, you just need to give them the basic information, get it over it, so they can get on with their day. But you still need that human connection to go, oh, and I think with this current situation that we're in, I think people now realise how special human connection is when we can't hug, we can't touch people, or, we're not supposed to, type thing. So there's that whole context of now we can't touch people. It's like going forward, just saying don't shake hands, but we really still want that human connection.
We completely do. So just a quick one that springs to mind, like as a business owner, is there any specific tech tools that you would say are really great for a business owner that can help with their processes and systems or structure? Like what tools might you use, or what would you suggest is good just to make sure you're utilizing, just to get the basics in place?
I create my own forms, my own print, and I know there's a lot of tech stuff out there, but I find some things are just too complex, or they're not adaptable enough to what I want. So the spreadsheet is my friend, or the table is my friend, and I just create my own spreadsheets and my own table or forms, so I can have tick lists. Even when I give it to my assistant, it has a tick list of what I require her to do. That way I know she's not missing things, because there's a process. I want this to go here, and then that goes to that, and then one program someone did send to me, and I'm just going to click down and find what that was. It's called Free Mind. So I was introduced to that program, which is a way to put down your procedures and your processes, and just allows you to put things together in a spreadsheet, and you can convert it to a PDF, you can convert it to a dot point, a document, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like, that's fantastic, because I can actually say to my assistant, I want you to complete that when you're doing that task. So she follows her own steps, and I can then just convert that to a document.
Nice.
So it's simple.
Nice. Free mind. Great value already being added there. I've taken a note of that.
A comedian speaker, actually put me onto that. So that was his tip. So I'm like, yeah, thank you. But, there's a lot of tech tools out there I get, but because they're so separate and they don't encompass, I don't like wasting time.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of things, there's a lot of complex stuff in trying to organise that. So
yeah, we want to make sure it's there, but not have it too convoluted, I think is the key. I'm going to look up that one as well. I had not heard of that one. I'll check it out.